What's going on, guys? Nick Rager here, full-time strength coach in person and online. In this video, I'm going to break down the relentless work ethic and mindset that wrestling instilled in my head and how I plug that into every single one of my online clients' programs in order for them to achieve results that they did not think were possible. So I wrestled in college. I wrestled at Vermont State University. I was an NCAA national qualifier at 165 pounds. Now, everybody knows that wrestling is the hardest sport. But what helps my clients achieve goals that they didn't think were possible is this simple key. I used to cut more weight than anybody you've ever met in your life, and I used to gain weight and turn it into muscle in legitimately weeks in time. And I used to do it efficiently and compete at the highest levels with the best guys in the country. What college wrestling taught me was I have to work harder than everybody else in order to achieve average results. And now that I look back on it, that is honestly the story of my life. I was never the smartest. I wasn't even supposed to go to college in the first place. I went to college for the experience. Nobody thought I would make it in, never mind graduate with a degree in exercise science and be an NCAA national qualifier. Now, I'm not naturally or genetically gifted in any way, shape, or form. 5 years ago, I literally weighed 125 pounds soaking wet, and I had no direction whatsoever. Now, wrestling taught me three basic things. Discipline is everything. If you can do a little more than the person next to you, you will most likely be successful. And you need to be training your mind no matter what it is you're doing. Because if you don't truly believe you can accomplish a certain goal, it will never happen. You win in your head before you win on the mat. The second thing I learned is that all work is profit. Now, like I said, I was not naturally talented at the sport of wrestling, so I had to beat everybody else in the little things, like the meal preps, the snacks, the timing, the hydration, the pre-match fuel, the post-match fuel. Every single thing I did, the step counts, the sleep, everything in college was dialed down to a gram in order for me to achieve greatness. The third thing that college wrestling taught me is it's not about being perfect. It's not about being undefeated. It's not about being the best all the time. What it comes down to is when you lose, when you fall off track, how fast can you bounce back into routine? Because being realistic, everybody loses, everybody gets faced with hardships, everybody falls off track. But what separated the kids that were the best from the kids that were not is the kids that were the best could rip it up, they could go have fun, they could lose, but they would get back into routine like that. And the kids that didn't, they would procrastinate about getting back into routine. They would take their time. They would think about what has to be done instead of just snapping back into routine and figuring it out once they got going. Those three principles I use with every single one of my clients day in and day out, because it's not about being perfect. It's not about chasing just the big wins. It's not about just chasing the 10 pounds. It's about chasing the lifestyle and adjusting your habits, your disciplines, your non-negotiables in order for you to meet your goal at the end. You losing 20 pounds, you gaining 20 pounds of muscle, whatever the hell the mission is, that's the end goal, and I promise you that is going to happen. The important part of it is who you become on the journey, because you don't want to be the guy that loses 20 pounds and gains it back, or puts on 10 pounds of muscle and loses all that muscle. You want to be the guy that puts on 10 pounds of muscle and then 3 months later they put on 20 pounds of muscle. You want to be the guy that loses the 40 pounds and gets absolutely shredded. You don't want to be the guy that loses the 40 pounds and stays skinny fat. Those three principles I apply with every single one of my clients, because almost 99% of the people I work with, nothing comes natural to them. They have to work harder than everybody else in order to achieve average results. All work is profit. So the little things that they're doing, like the meal prep, like the water tracking, like the step count, like the sleep cycle, all of those things come into play. If you stack up all of the little wins, at the end of the day, you will see the big win. But all of the little ones compile into a big win at the end of the day. And third, it's not about being perfect, because nobody is perfect. It's about when you fall off the horse, when you go on the trip, when you have a few drinks, when you fuck around a little too hard. All it is when you wake up, you have to jump back into routine, because that's what I do, and that's what allows me to stay shredded, but also live my dream life. because I'm not perfect in any way, shape, or form. I do those 3 simple things. I understand the mindset that I can accomplish anything I put my mind to. I understand that all work is profit and the little wins compile into a big win. I understand that I have to work harder than everybody else in order to achieve an average result. And I understand that I'm not perfect and I do fall off the horse. But the difference between me and everybody else is when I fall off the horse, I get right the fuck back on. If you're that person that's watching this and you're like, holy shit, that's me to a T, I understand what you're going through because everybody doubted me for years and people still do doubt me. But I continue to show up day in and day out, not to prove anybody wrong. I do it for myself. If this spoke to you and you're ready to dial in and take your lifestyle to the next level, click the link below. We'll jump on a call, see if you're qualified. I hope you guys enjoyed the real raw video. This car is about to fuck up the intro, but I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you on the flip. Peace.